It's very, very, very unlikely that every single person that joins your team is just going to be with you forever. It makes sense that, like, sometimes people, for whatever reason, move on. They decide to step away. Sometimes they come back. Sometimes you hope they don't. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they're better off elsewhere. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise. I've had some people over the years join my team from other companies. And immediately I was like, oh, I see why you didn't have success. Or I had people join my team from other companies and they're amazing and they were just on the wrong team. They were in the wrong model, the wrong business model, or the wrong product, the wrong company, whatever. They were on the wrong team. They had the wrong mentor. First of all, we don't own people, right? We don't own our downline, our database. We don't really own our social media. Like, this is probably common sense. And I've been on both sides of it. I've been on both sides. And I just think we have to level up as professionals. If we want people to come into our industry, our profession, into our organization, we have to be professional. We have to take the high road. It's so easy. It's so low class to go somewhere else, and to promote your new thing, you bash your old thing. You bash the previous company. And I just think it's one of those things where, if people quit your team, and I know it stings sometimes, especially when it's someone you care about, you feel like you really worked with them, you poured into them, you supported them, you felt like you had a personal relationship. But this is business, y'all. It just happens. It happens. And by the way, sometimes people move on. They find something that's a better fit for them, which, you should be happy about if you're truly their friend and you care about them. And sometimes they go from company to company to company to company. And, it's one of those things, right? It's one of those things where you're like, maybe you should have stayed put. Maybe you should have stayed put. But at the end of the day, let's just rise above the drama. Let's maintain our composure and our professionalism. You don't want to be loving on people only when they make you money. You don't want to only be friends with people just because because here's the thing. I look at it like this. I was in one company for 7 years. During that 7-year period, I brought a lot of people to the table. I brought a lot of revenue to the company, to my upline. And then, after 7 years of being there, my entire team, for the most part, was not making money. When I left that company, it wasn't just a fluke decision or I was just being emotional. This was a very logical choice. Nobody's getting a check with a comma. I'm out. I don't care how much money I'm making. Peace. I'm gone. At that time, I was looking at other options, but I didn't want anybody to know. I couldn't tell my upline because they would just, turn on me like that. And this is exactly what they did do after I left. And they did it to people over and over again. So that's the other thing. I saw how they treated people that left. And I was like, ew, dude, I will never be like that. Now, it's also how you leave. If you leave and you're super shady and you're messaging and inboxing people that didn't reach out to you first, that you didn't have a relationship with, that's the worst. Hey, did you know I left so-and-so, or I left such and such company? You should take a look. And it's do I even know you? Who are you? What are you thinking? Anyway, and I didn't do any of that. I just decided quietly to figure out what other companies were doing. And this was back in it was around the end of 2012, but I left in 2013. So I took a lot of time. I was looking for a while. And it was so hard because I didn't want to get caught. I felt like I was being a cheater or something. I don't know. It just sucked, right? Because you felt like you're being unfaithful or disloyal. But then I'm this is how I looked at it. I was it would be more disloyal or unethical to promote something I don't believe in. I got to be loyal to me, my family, my kids, my wife, my team. I'm going to be loyal to my team. And if I don't, I couldn't look them in the eye anymore. And we built offline back then. We did home meetings every night, Saturday trainings every Saturday. So we were really working with people, right? It was these people were family to me. And I'm I can't look them in the eye and say, keep going, it's worth it, when I knew for a fact it wasn't worth it. I started to realize that model was broken. That compensation plan sucked. And the average person could not win. And I couldn't look people in the eye and say, you should do this or you should keep going. I had no belief. I call it the 7-year itch, by the way. If you can get past that 7-year itch. You know, I've seen people walk away from multiple 6 figures and you're like, why would they do that? There's a plethora of reasons. What I will tell you, it's not just about money. I'll tell you this, if you treat people like crap, you might be like, yeah, they're making money. They're not going anywhere. They will go somewhere. 100%. And even if you treat them well, eventually there's just some people, they're just never satisfied and they're going to go somewhere else. You have to be okay with that. Bless and release. And here's also why you taproot, because all you try to do is just manage your top line leaders. Just know that some of them might leave. And if you have no relationship with their team will go with them because they don't know any better. They don't know anyone else. So when I left that company back in July of 2013, that's how I blew up originally on social media. Because when we said we were leaving that company, we were one of the first ones to leverage social media to build influence and build a brand. And all these people came out of the woodwork like, why are you leaving? Where are you going? It was chaos. It was chaos. And then of course, we're going to promote our new business. And that's what I'll tell you. If you leave to go somewhere else, focus on your new business. Focus on your story of like vision, future. Don't bash where you came from. But at the same time, you know, if you end up in a one-on-one conversation and someone wants to know the truth and it's someone you have a relationship with, what are you supposed to do? Lie to them? Like, this is what sucks. And I know it's hard because when someone leaves your team, they're threatening your livelihood. I'll say it again. When someone quits your team, especially if it's a leader with influence, it threatens your livelihood. So I knew they were going to come at me guns blazing. I knew I might get sued, and I did. Bottom line, I left. Most of my team came with me because my upline didn't taproot me. We were like the redheaded stepchild because we were always the number one team. We were always the number one team in like every company we've been in. I hope that doesn't sound arrogant. I don't care if it does. It's just a fact. We were always the redheaded stepchild. To our upline always had to go build outside of us because we crushed. And when I say we, I mean Nadya and I. Anyway, so we left. We brought in all these people. And what they should have done is wished us well because we made them a lot of money for 7 years. The company and our upline made a lot of money off us for 7 years. Why not just be grateful for that? Maintain the relationship, maintain your composure, because here's what happens. They start talking smack. I remember one of them said, and look at this, 11 years later, I'm still telling this story. Do you see how important your choices are and how you handle these transitions? You'll notice I don't go down that path. When people quit my team or people come to me from other companies, I have people coming to me from other companies all the time because I'm a good human and I treat people with integrity and decency. And anyway, that's a whole other conversation. But 11 years later, I'm telling this story. And I remember one of my so-called mentors who I would mention him today as my mentor if he didn't behave the way he did. People that know me. They know, like, I have relationships with most of the people that quit my team. If I don't, it's because they did something really bad or they blocked me, like, okie dokie. And by the way, there's always going to be some emotions that flare up because you got to defend yours. You got to defend your business. And if someone quits your team, I get it. You got to defend your team. But if you go out there like, everyone blocks so-and-so, so-and-so's a traitor, so-and-so's going to cross-recruit your people, that is like the worst thing you could do. My number one income earner on my team back in 2017 got terminated. It was crazy. It was chaos. But I handled it the way I'm telling you to handle it. As a professional, I had private conversations, of course, and told the truth when people want to know the truth because these are people that they needed to know. It was like, am I staying or leaving? Am I following this person or am I staying put? I need to have answers to my questions. But if I go on social media blasting that person, that shows my integrity and my character. And it's not a good look. If I were you, you could do whatever you want. It's your business. If you can avoid it. I know it's so hard not to get triggered. And it's so hard not to be like, all I did for them. Dude, just be okay with like people forget very quickly what you did for them. And at the end of the day, if they're not excited, why would you want them there anyway? Now, there's a right and a wrong way to do it. Like in my opinion, you should tell your people if you're leaving. You should let your upline know if you had a real relationship. That's how, what I did is I told all my front line, I'm out. I love you. If you want to come with me, awesome. If you want to stay, that's cool. But I wanted you to, because I introduced you. I worked with you directly. You're a personal friend, not just a partner. You're a friend. And these people were like, yo, we want to go with you, right? And then they told their people. So I got my whole team ready. And then we were ready to launch. Then I resigned. And then I told my upline. That's how I did it because I didn't have a good relationship with my upline. I didn't like how they handled situations. I didn't like the way they were when I saw how they treated people. I saw they burned bridges with anyone that would ever quit. And I thought it was nasty. So You have to figure out what works for you, how you want to do it, but do it with integrity. Do it. Always try to look at it from the other person's perspective, right? If someone quits your team, if they didn't try to tear down the business, they're just like, hey, I'm going to go do something else. Like, who cares? Yeah, I look at it like it's a game. It's like a challenge, right? It's like a challenge. They're playing hard to get. Like, oh, I don't want to lose that person. Like, I really care about that person. I'm going to stay in touch with them. I'm going to treat them the way I wish I was treated when I left. I'm just going to be a good human. Just be a good person. And try not to look at the bottom line like, oh my gosh, they're leaving. It's threatening my livelihood. Like, just be like, yo, hey, I hope you find what you're looking for. But if not, the door is always open. But again, on the flip side, I see people that leave a company and they're bashing. And it's like, wow, never had a problem with their upline until they left. Now that's a bad person. Now that's a bad company. It's like weird. You were trying to recruit me for that company a month ago. Were you lying then or are you lying now? That tells me everything I need to know about your new opportunity. I'm just saying, people are not dumb. They're not dumb. And they're going to see how you behave when someone quits. They're going to see your team is watching that too. They're going to see how you behave. Are you going to take the high road, maintain your composure and professionalism? Because remember this too, there's always people watching, right? Like new people watching. There's new people that join your team. They're like, I don't even know who those people are. So why acknowledge it? Why go out there and just like, I gotta tell my truth. And it's like, yeah, but you're also trying to hurt other people's businesses. You're trying to tear down, just promote your new thing. I'm telling you, this is how to do it. Promote the new thing, be excited about the new thing. Do your best not to go down that path of a pissing match and all that nastiness because it's just annoying. It's a turnoff. The new people don't like that stuff. Your leaders don't like that stuff. And the ones that do like it, because there are those that are like, yeah, get them. It's drama. No bueno. It sucks, I know, especially when you care about someone. I get it, but take the high road.